Hello fight fans and welcome to the Combat Challenge podcast. My guest today is an MMA athlete with a professional record of 3 wins and 0 losses. He fights under the guidance of Gavin Boardman from Manchester Predators and competes in the featherweight division. Mr. Crazy Chris. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, my brother, man.
It's great to be in Bradford.
I can't believe you've made the journey, man. I really appreciate it because you came on train, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Now, brother, we were supposed to meet at 4 o'clock, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was only because I was in the gym with Ben Burnett and Callum Mullen and all them lot. And we finished just before 2 that I gave you a call. Yeah. And you were like, yeah, I'm on the train, I'm just a bit early, I'll be there at 2 o'clock. But it worked out all right.
Of course, I've got to be professional, I've got to come on time. A lot of people, they'll say a certain time and they'll try to hit that certain time, and all sorts of shit could happen, you know what I mean? The train could get delayed, loads of different things. I just think you get there early, if you didn't ring me, I probably would have gone to get a coffee or something anyway, so it's all good.
Well, I do the same, brother, because I work at a place where I'm supposed to start at 6 and I'm there at 5:30, just to be on the safe side. Like I said, anything can happen, can't it? So it's always good to get there early. Now, brother, with you, and then we went to Pizza Slice, which was nice,
that was lovely. Oh, this man's a legend. He took me to heaven today. He didn't even know I was crazy about pizza.
Because I even said yesterday, oh brother, do you like pizza? You're like, what? And you told me this story about someone telling you about how crazy you were about pizza.
Oh no, so there was this fight I had years ago, and after I won, so I shot the guy out in the first round. I jumped at the camera and started screaming pizza, like just pizza, like holding onto the cage. I don't know what the hell was going through my head when I'd done it, but ever since then, everyone's known me as the crazy pizza guy ever since then, and that was like my second amateur fight or something crazy like that.
And brother, where did the name Crazy come from?
My original coach, Rob Friedman. There was 2 Chris's at my original gym. Myself, and there was a Chris Leeson. Chris Leeson's name is Christopher K. But they're not going to call him Christopher K, are they? They called him Big Chris because he was.
Did he have like blonde hair?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he was a very good fighter. Yeah. He trains out of ASW now under Cameron Atakura. I don't know if he's doing MMA anymore though. But anyways, back on to what I was saying. So I didn't like being called Small Chris. So because of the way I am, I'm autistic and I act a certain way and I say some dumb shit. You're probably going to hear me say a lot of dumb shit today. He just thought, well, he's crazy, so it's Crazy Chris. We've got Big Chris and Crazy Chris. And it just stuck since then, really. Well,
it kind of suits you, brother, because I saw you at FCC, that's when you came to my attention. Was it Ash Walters that you fought?
Yes, Ashley Walters, yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about the background, because obviously I was there and I emceed the fight, but I didn't know anything about the fight itself. So what did you know about Ashley and what was the preparation for him?
Ashley Walters is a pretty experienced amateur, sort of a 50-50 kind of record as an amateur, but he'd literally fought the who's who, like so to speak. He fought Alani Akpan, I believe, in one of his fights. And some really tough guys through all of his fights. Literally didn't pick any fights. No journeyman, I don't think, on his record whatsoever. And obviously, I'm not picking fights at all. I'm just going to say yes to whatever the hell they put in front of me. So we were waiting, we're getting all these opportunities. I got offered, I won't mention names out of respect, just so no one's like, I'm not one of them dickhead fighters that calling people out and like saying hurtful things. So I'm just not going to point the names out. There was 2 guys. I'll kind of narrow it down. There was one guy from, originally from Connor's gym, but he'd moved to higher level, so up in Scotland. I got offered this dude, and there was another dude that was a bit closer with a pretty good record. They both had really good records. I said for the one that was closer, the dude that was living closer by, I'll do it, but I want it for a title. And they never got back to us about it. And I think he ended up fighting somebody else on a different show, but I don't think he'd done it out of being scared of me or anything like that. I think he didn't want to fight me because I was 2-0, and I think, what was his record? Something like 6-2 or 5-3. Do you know what I mean? Like a bigger pro record. Yeah. It's like he's not going to get anything about outfighting me. So I don't think he was doing it because he was,
There's no win for him, really.
Exactly. So I understand. So I'm not I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you're fucking scared of me or out like that. You know, of course not. It's because we're in different parts of our careers. But I got the offer and I was like, yeah, it's for a title, definitely. But that didn't come about. So I was waiting. I kept on asking Gab every day. It's like, has Adam come back, if anything? He said, oh, yeah, well, we got this guy, Ashley Walters. I was like, all right, what's his record? He's a debut pro. I was like, debut pro. But if you look at my last 2 pro fights, so before this fight, could you even call them pro fights? Because I'm fighting fucking journeymen. Like, I end up fighting, not offence to these guys, obviously, they're just doing the job, but I fought Reece Street because we tried on, what was that show called again? World Combat Federation something? What's it called?
There is a World Combat Federation.
Yeah, something like that. World Fighting I don't know, can't remember. It was Andy Devant show. Was supposed to fight this Polish guy, then it was this other guy, then it was this other guy, and then eventually it was like, oh, you're fighting fucking Reece Street. Alright, brilliant. So I went in there, done that, lockdown happened, loads of shit happened in between there, and I ended up fighting on FCC. I got signed to fight a guy called Richard Lunt. That was going to be a good fight. So I'm talking about my second pro fight now. That would have been a really good fight, like very good stylistic matchup. Richard Lunt had like a very dynamic striking style, like if you ever watched Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, does a lot of side kicks. I think he might be Hammy's striking coach. I think I might be wrong. Sean Hammer, if I'm wrong, message me and tell me. But I think he might have done some sessions for you guys. I don't know. Anyways, I got signed to fight him. I was really looking forward to that. And I believe he got injured 6 weeks before the fight, which was fucking shit.
Oh, I bet.
Because I brought people in to try and emulate it, and there was a guy who I know from training years ago at Blackburn Predators, Jake Hughes, who's fucking mint at that stuff. Like, all very fucking, side on.
It's very taekwondo-y sort of thing,
it's not taekwondo though. Like, taekwondo's very kick-based, like jumping kicks, spinning kicks.
Was one from like a karate background?
Point karate. So the guy's a point karate guy. So Jake was going to come in. The fucking day, Jake said, oh, I'm going to come in tomorrow. Gav told me I got good news and I got bad news. And I said, right, so I know what the bad news is just based on what you've said. The bad news is he's pulled out. Good news is you got me someone else, and he's like, no, the good news is you don't need Jake.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, fuck. So we're looking for someone for that, and just end up being a fucking journeyman. And, it's one of them, and it just happens.
So I think you got to a stage where you thought, right, look, for my third fight, I want someone who's credible.
Yeah,
that I'm going to compete against.
I told Gav, and obviously, if anything happened, I didn't want to fight a journeyman. Like, if Ash pulled out for whatever reason, right, I wouldn't have been fighting, especially with all the stress I went through, because I was training for my last one for the fucking hardest possible fight. I was putting so much effort in. Like, anybody who knows me knows how much I put into this fucking sport. And I don't want to be fighting someone I'm just going to destroy in 20 seconds or, go in there and... Here's the other thing about fighting dickheads like that, right? I'm not... Obviously, going into fights nervous, right? Obviously, it don't matter who you fight, you're going to go into a fight nervous. When I was fighting them 2 idiots, backstage, I was throwing up, thinking, I was throwing up, because in the back of my mind, I don't want to be that guy who loses against these guys. Because you lose against them guys. What the fuck are you doing in the cage? Do you know what I mean? I put all that effort in. I'm training for world-class competition, and I go in there and I lose to one of them guys, and they even lay a glove on me. It's like, what the fuck am I doing in there? So I was really nervous going into them too, and I didn't understand it the whole way through the fight camp. When I found out, it's like maybe 2 weeks before, a week before, I'm fighting a journeyman. The hardest thing's gonna be the weight cut. As soon as it gets to the night, it's like, if I lose, fuck.
So it was really stressing you out, right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because you don't want to lose against them guys. Like going into the Ash Walters fight, I felt like going into it, I've just been myself now. Like, I'm not going to be stressed or anxious. If just to prove my point, watch my fight with Louis Beatty on YouTube. You'll notice I'm really amped up in that fight. You'll notice that I'm pulling like a very mean face, and that was because Gav backstage knew I had to get psyched up a bit more because I was not nervous. I was nervous, obviously, but I wasn't like I wasn't scared of him. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't scared at all of that guy. Like, I didn't have it in my head that he could knock me out, but at the same time, I didn't want to be that guy. So Gav was like, right, you've got to be sharp, Chris. So I had to get myself hyped up in case something happened. Whereas when I went in with Ashley Walters, I was laughing and smiling. I even walked out to Christmas music.
I know, bro. So what did you know about Ash leading up to the fight, my friend?
Tough, gritty, and I'd say well-rounded. Like, Ash isn't an expert at anything. He's just good at everything, if you get me. He's not like a KO artist on the feet. He's not like a jiu-jitsu wizard on the ground. He's not like an NCAA wrestler. He was just a good all-round tough fighter. So in my head, I was thinking, I'm probably not going to finish him. But it's probably going to, go the distance this fight. It's probably going to be in my favour. I'm probably going to land more shots, probably score more takedowns. But I'm not going to finish this guy. That's what I was thinking. I'm not finishing this guy.
So you're thinking he was quite tough, he was resilient,
yes.
He's got the experience, he'll just keep going.
Yeah. I was thinking, no offence to him when I say this, I was thinking it was going to be more of a clinic from me, but it was going to go 3 rounds and there was going to be he was going to have his moments too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, talk us through the fight, brother.
Okay. Would you want the short version or the long version?
Whichever you want to tell them, my friend. So, methodically, just break it down. So the bell goes.
Okay, so the bell goes. I wanted to establish my jab straight away. So the whole camp, I wanted to use my striking. I want to prove to people that I can strike. Because all my wins, every single win, even when I was an amateur, are submissions. I've took people down and I've submitted them pretty quickly, and I just wanted to prove that I can box, I can kickbox. You know what I mean? So I went in. I'm gonna throw my jab.
See, he would have known that as well. Ash would have known that you've got a lot of jits behind you, and know he'd be thinking that maybe I want to keep it stood up.
Exactly. He changed his mind. I established my jab, and at that moment, I threw 3 jabs. 2 landed, one missed. The first jab was a tester, more of a tester jab. I threw the jab.
Kind of gauging the distance?
Yeah, it was more gauging the distance to testing the waters. The first jab I threw, I did like a slip jab, so I'd bring my head to the side, threw it, just in case he threw something back. Managed to just about touch. I don't remember if I touched his chest with that one or his chin. Can't remember. It's really hard to see on the camera whether or not I got his chest or his chin. And after that, I thought, right, let's just stick it in a bit more. That one done some damage, that second one, because he threw a jab at the same time. He hit me, I hit him. It looks like on the video he barely hit me. Like he didn't even hit me, but he did. He actually hit me with that jab. But we both threw the jab differently. I threw the jab turning at my hip and shoulder, so my head's not rocking forward. He rocked his head forward as he threw it. So when I threw mine, by the way, Ash Walters has longer arms than me. Just letting you know, he actually has a longer reach than me.
Really, you're quite long yourself, bro.
Ashley Walters had long arms. Like, if you look at some photos of Ash, that was something I was actually worried about going into the fight, thinking I'm probably going to be taller than him, but he actually might have a reach advantage on me. If you look at his arms, they're fucking long, man. They're fucking long. I was thinking this guy's gonna have some reach. Like it might take me off guard. So I threw the jab from the hip. He threw it like leaning into it. It kind of, that effect made him like almost headbutt my fist. Oh. So he took a harder brunt of that. And at that moment, I think in his head subconsciously he wanted the lesser of 2 evils at that point, and he shot a takedown. But the way he shot the takedown wasn't like how do I put it? wasn't like a calculated shot. It was like more of a panic kind of movement.
A bit of desperation.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I was going to knock him out. I was looking for that. I want that KO. So I threw the third jab to set up the 2. Then he shot under. You know, not gonna lie, I kind of gave him that takedown as soon as he shot in on me. I didn't, you know, no disrespect when I say this at all, okay? When he shot, I thought, right, I might as well just get him in my guard now, because it's over.
But you kind of, so he kind of did like a double leg takedown, but you were already setting things up as your ass is touching the canvas.
Not even before my ass touched the canvas, mate. Most of my subs, I'm setting the sub up on the as they're taking me down.
Right.
So as soon as I land, I'm either recovering guard or I'm tying an arm up. So as I'm going down, I jumped up like a koala bear, wrapped my legs around him, and I started going for my overhooks. And the triangle setup, it was just a standard overhook, shrimp out, trap the bicep, bring the leg over. Just a very simple overhook triangle.
But then before you kind of secured it and you got it tight, you got him a few with some elbows as well.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Right after the fight, fucking hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Like obviously he's gonna fucking feel it, but fuck. I went to the pub after that fight. I couldn't bring my hand to my face.
So was it because of where you connected, or just?
It must have been. Or I'm just a pussy. I'm probably just a pussy. I am a hypochondriac. Everyone will tell you that I am a bit of a hypochondriac. But no, the way I was elbowing him, because I have thrown elbows in fights before. I've had 3 fights now, so I did throw elbows in my 2 previous fights. The way I was elbowing him was like this style. Not 12 to 6, I'm talking like on a clock, that'd be 12 to 6.
Yeah.
Because I'm lying down, it's not 12 to 6. Yeah. I must have been hitting him with more of my muscle on some of them, because they were rapid. I weren't aiming them, I weren't thinking, let's just place it here.
Because you were on your back, and it's difficult to kind of hit with this bit when you're on your back.
Yeah, it would have made too much space.
Yeah.
Like I landed and I just thought, right, tie it on. Off. Just basically just slam them in as hard as I can. I just rapid as hell. I think I counted it on the video like 16 or 17 clean elbows. Yeah, in the space of.
But the whole fight only lasted 30 seconds or something.
I know. I was counting them. It was like 1, 2, 3. Oh god. That must have hurt.
Now, one thing I noticed is when the fight finished and he tapped, straight away, and I've noticed this with the rest of your fights as well, is you kind of embraced him, and it was your way of saying, look, it's a sport. I couldn't hear what you were saying to him.
No,
can you talk us through that?
I was just telling him I respect you so much. This has been one of the hardest fight camps I've had, and it has. Like obviously every fight's the hardest fight camp I've had, obviously, but that one in particular, like people just see the fight. Right, they don't see the fight camp, they don't see the dieting, they don't see the sacrifice I'm making, they don't see me getting up early in the morning to get that train, fucking sprinting to the station just to catch that train, just to get to my training session. They don't see me going through that fucking weight cut. And the thing is, everything I'm going through, he's going through too. Right, a lot of fighters. They know this, but they don't. Sometimes they don't accept it. It's like, no, I'm training harder than this guy. It's like, oh, I'm better than this guy. It's like, yeah, you know what, I believe that. You know what I mean? But we're all in there, and we're all putting the same sacrifices in. We're all putting the same effort in. It's like, so I respect that man. And he, out of a lot of people, decided to fight me. He wanted to fight me. You know what I mean? And he was an 0-0 fighter. He could have very easily thought, right, I'm gonna fight someone shit to build my record up. I'm going to find someone who stylistically is better. But no, he wanted to challenge himself. He wanted to fight a fucking prospect straight away. So I respect that, man. And the same with every single one of my opponents. If you want to get in the cage with me, I respect you a lot.
Well, there's 2 types of fighters, isn't there? There's one that want to kind of pad their record and play it safe, and there's those that just want to go for it and really test themselves.
I respect that. He's a real fighter. I respect that.
We were talking about the Mullins, weren't we, brother, when we were coming, and we were talking about Callum and Tom Mullen when they fought on Almighty.
Yes.
And Tom taking that fight.
Fucking hell.
It was a tough fight, and a lot of people would hesitate.
I know. And that's an example of a real fighter. you're not picking and choosing. You're not going in there having all the cards, you know, in your favour, so to speak. And on any, you know, it's a 50-50 fight, that. Mark Hewan weren't it that he fought?
Yeah.
That's a 50-50 fight, really. You know, on another day, you know, Tom probably knocked him out or submitted him on another day, you know. You might have won, do you know what I mean? It could have been a draw, you never know. But those are the kind of fights that you want. Something I will say, though, is them kind of fights you want, and this is talking to all the younger fighters out there, get them fights in an amateur. Like, get as many of them kind of fights in as an amateur. Don't think about your fucking mates that are fucking out drinking and think, I've got to show off in front of them and, you know, fight a bum to get an easy fight and build my record up. No. If you've got a 50-50 record, that means more than your fucking 10-0 record against fucking Reece Street and Will Kearns. Okay, that's facts. There's a lot of them out there. You might as well, if you're going to fight them, right, it's last minute, I think, for like pro fights, like 2 weeks before the fight, say your original opponent pulled out. Okay, you're fighting fucking Will Kearns. Fair dues. But apart from that, I don't, unless you sold loads and loads of tickets and he's pulled out in the week of the fight whilst you're cutting weight, I don't see what the point is of fighting a journeyman.
Yeah, and it's also where your kind of moral compass is, where you think, hold on a minute, you know, I'm doing a 6 or 8 week fight camp for somebody who's a journeyman. Yeah. You know,
here's another one. It's disrespectful a little bit to people you're training with. It's like I'm that. Not this fight, just gone, the fight before, one of my teammates will be named, I won't mention his name, but I injured him, I threw a head kick and I injured his nose. And he's you know, sacrificed his health a little bit for me, do you know what I mean, to help me prep for that fight. And I've gone in there against this guy who, I could tell you a long story about that fucking second one where I was supposed to fight Richard Lunn. There was 6 different people after Richard Lunn, 5 or 6 different people. Yeah, and turns out I was supposed to fight a guy from Blackpool on the Wednesday. So on the Wednesday of fight week, they're saying, right, fighting this kid from Blackpool who's had some good boxing experience. Oh, now you're fighting this southpaw journeyman, but he's going to give it. And then it got to the day of the fight. That guy never even turned up to the medical. And I get to the venue and I'm expecting I'm fighting this fucking southpaw. And Adam Tay's like, Chris, has Gav told you? He's like, no, what you on about? And I'm stressing out because it's fucking fight day. I've just got to the venue. And he's like, your opponent pulled out. He never turned up to his medical. I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, don't worry, Chris, because we found someone. It was like, you found someone. It was like, the way he described it was like, he found some fucking bum on the street that was fucking begging for money. He was like, yeah, I'll give you 100 quid if you fight this fucking monster. But no, it was someone who's done a few before, but it's still like, he came into the cage and I'll never forget this. His Chester. His Chester, it looked like the Batman logo. No. Yeah.
I'm gonna check it on YouTube.
Like, look at his Chester.
What's the guy called?
Lewis Beatty.
Right, okay.
So we got in the cage. I looked across. I was like, "The fuck is this guy, Homer Simpson?" He had Chester, and it looked like the Batman logo. So I'm thinking, fucking hell. It's not the hero I wanted, but no.
You know when the fight finished with Ash?
Yeah.
And then I think the commentator came and gave you the mic, and you kind of gave credit to some people as well. But before I went into the cage, your corner team said to me, "Look, don't give him the mic because this dude will just go off on." They know you, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Oh god. But yeah.
What did you say then? You know, like when you've I can't remember what you said when the commentator gave you the mic.
Oh, you mean when I went backstage?
No. So it wasn't just backstage. You were actually in the cage.
No, someone gave me a mic in the cage.
Did you not?
No, I don't think they did.
Oh, sorry, no, it was backstage.
Oh no, trust me. If they gave me a microphone, I think I'd remember that. I think everybody would remember that.
No, because I watched a little bit about the one backstage, and there were a couple of things that you mentioned about like what your target is and what you need to focus on. Can you share that with us now? Can you remember what you talked about?
Well, my head was all over the place, obviously, because I just fought. In my head at the minute, it's I need a break. Like that last fight, I put so much into it, and also like the fight itself, it only lasted 37 seconds, but it was the build up to it, right? And it took a lot out of me, mentally and physically. That weight cut was awful. Like I was considering pulling out of the fight because of it. Because in the rehydration, I ended up ill. Yeah, I ended up ill, and I messaged some of my coaches. You know, the night before the fight, I was like, oh, I don't think I'll be able to do it. I was thinking like I'm not going to be able to like fuel up properly.
And what was the advice that was given to you?
Sam Spencer was the guy that I rang, who's one of my teammates, and he also does some of my coaching too. He said, just relax, stay calm, you know, cross that bridge when you come to it. You know, but I was like, yeah, but what if I have to pull out? And he's like, yeah, well, if you have to pull out, you have to pull out, but just don't worry about that tonight. Just keep drinking water, try and hydrate, you know. Do
so by this time, you'd already made weight.
I made,
just
yes,
in that rehydration.
Yes. There was stuff that happened that was concerning during the weight cut process, but the thing that was more, but in my head, like I'm not thinking about how I feel during the weight cut. Obviously, I'm thinking about that, but I'm not thinking about that. Ultimately, I'm thinking about I've got to make weight and I've got to fight. That's all I'm thinking about, right? There were things going on though, like I had weird shakes in the night and different things, and I had kidney pains. All normal stuff, so I'm not really thinking too much about that. You know, I'll say normal stuff. Some of you people that don't fight are going to be thinking, what the fuck? You're going into a fist fight and you're killing yourself, what the fuck? But it was the rehydration that got me, because I've had fucking how many fights have I had now? Fuck.
You've had quite a few
almost
amateurs, haven't you?
So I've had all my fights up, like my amateurs and the pros. I've probably had almost 20 fights.
Wow.
So you got to think I've done that many weight cuts. Obviously some of them I might not have done, but almost like I don't know, 17, 16 weight cuts. Never have I had a bad rehydration. Like never have I felt like I've been ill from rehydrating. So that was what was worrying me. It's like, this has never happened before. Why the fuck is this happening now? Got to the day of the fight and I started feeling better. And from there, I got to the venue and I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm getting in there, it's right. It's one of them, innit? What happens, happens.
Well, the thing is, you reap the rewards, don't you, brother? You did all that sacrifice and it worked out well for you, which is the main thing. Now, for you, brother, you know your day-to-day routine. Like, how do you fill your week? And, you know, do you train? Are you working? Can you kind of talk us through that?
So Monday to Thursday, I train in Manchester. I go to Manchester. So I live in Blackburn, but I get on a train to go to Manchester pretty much every single day. From Monday to Thursday, I'm pretty much in Manchester all day. I'll do my first session at 11 AM. There'll be a fighter class. I'll do that with all the team, and then I'll have some food, and then I'll start doing PTs, and I'll also teach the jiu-jitsu classes at night, the fundamental jiu-jitsu classes. And then depending, you know, if I'm in a fight camp, I'll have another training session, you know what I mean, or I'll do S&C or whatever. If I'm not in a fight camp, well, I'm an idiot, I just train anyway, but I should give myself a break. But no, I just train twice a day basically, on top of coaching and doing PTs.
This is your full-time job, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. This is my life. This is all I do. It's what I love.
And is it fair to say that you kind of focus from a young age, and you've got yourself maybe another 2 years, 3 years, 4 years plan of where you want to be?
Yes, I've got a plan. Me and Gav, we've got a plan of where I want to be from now, and obviously in the next few years. I'm not giving them plans away.
but you've got that structure, haven't you, brother? You've got that structure.
Yeah, we've got a structure. I'll give this away though. My next fight won't be on FCC, because a lot of people will be thinking, Chris, you want that title? Like you've been saying, oh, you want that featherweight belt and all this. no, I'm on to bigger, better things now. That's what the plan is. I'm gonna have a break. I'm gonna focus on my driving lessons. that's something I brought up in the interview. I want to focus on my driving lessons, and I want to enjoy some time with family and friends. But then in the summer, I'm hoping to get bigger opportunities, and from there, in 2 years, you're going to see me in a really big place. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, brother, you train at Manchester Predators.
Yes.
I think it's important to give recognition to those that kind of build you. So can you tell us, who the coaches are, who your close training partners
yes,
are,
of
that
course.
kind of help you along the way?
Of course. Gavin Boardman's my head coach, and he is probably, in my opinion, and in a lot of fighters' opinions that have been there and trained, that train there now and the past been there, he's a world-class coach. He's up there with guys like Greg Jackson, in my opinion, up there with guys like Faraz Harbi. That's my opinion. Okay, I believe I'm going to go to the UFC one day just because I've got him in my corner. That's my honest to God opinion. So that's my head coach. We've got Sam Spencer. He's one of the coaches, but also he's one of the fighters. He's a professional fighter. He's 6-2, I think. Sam, if I'm wrong about your record, correct me. The pressure's on. I've got 2 cameras on me, man. But yeah, we've got Sam Spencer, a bantamweight professional. He's one of my coaches too. Helps me out with some of my wrestling, and also he's held pads for me, showed me a bit of striking techniques. We all share different things. I share stuff to Sam too. We've got Tony Morgan, again, professional fighter. What's his record? 7-1.
Right.
Tony, I think it's 7-1. Right. You can body shot me if I'm wrong. Okay, I'll give you that. You can body shot me if I'm wrong. I think your record's 7-1. Okay. He helped me out loads, Tony, for this last fight. We worked on a lot of striking strategies that, I didn't really get to do them, but it's a thought that counts, I guess.
They're getting in the toolbox, aren't they?
Oh no, I'm hopefully the next fight I'll probably be able to use them. But there was a lot of strategies that we worked that we wanted to implement. A lot of working that jab, but he tasted the jab and he didn't want anything else. So yeah, it's one of them.
And for you, brother, what advice would you give to those who are in the amateur field and are looking at going professional? From your experience, what advice would you give to them?
Do the IMAFs. That's the best advice I can give. Obviously, it's going to be very expensive, so if you can't do the IMAFs, just keep saying yes. That's another thing. Don't call people out. Don't be a dick, right? That's another thing. You don't have to be a dick in this sport. You see guys like Conor McGregor, the fucking chatting all this shit. Yeah, you can promote yourself in your own way. Obviously, you've got to stand out, but how are you going to stand out when every fucking fighter in the country is chatting shit? Because you're all going to get tarred with the same brush. Just be original. You don't have to be a bellend, but be original. That's another thing.
Well, an example there, brother, is you've got Conor McGregor on one end of the spectrum, and then you've got people like Khabib, who stood out with his skills, and he was originally, and he got noticed for that.
Exactly that. And another one's George St. Pierre. You know what I mean? He was very marketable. Never said a bad thing about anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's that. So promote yourself, but promote yourself in the right way, but also get the right fights. Don't accept easy fights. Well, obviously accept any fight you get, but take hard fights. It's like maybe 3-0, do you know what I mean? Who's number 1 in your weight class? You want that guy. Don't call them out necessarily, but take any chance you can to get in a cage with someone like that.
They're like stepping stones to that one person. You need to have that focus on them.
Turn pro when you've got a good amount of experience, is what I'd say, because at the end of the day, you turn pro, you can't go back. And these are the fights that matter. Like I'm fighting now, I win, it's amazing, it can propel me to the UFC. If I lose, it takes me that one step back away from my goal.
Yeah. Cool. Well, listen, brother, you've made the journey to us to Bradford, right? Next time I'm going to come to Manchester Predators. I'm going to do a podcast down there.
That'd be ace. We'd
Sam and Gav and all of them.
We'd all love to. That'd be
the only thing I need to know is, brother, does that Gav Boardman smile? Because
you know what? Yeah, he does. You'd be surprised. He does. here's the thing with him, right? Yeah, if he smiles, okay, if he compliments you, right, you've earned it, and that means more than anything to me.
Right.
And if he says something, that was good, Chris, and no, that was good, okay. Whereas somebody else says it, it was like, you're chatting shit.
Yeah.
You're just saying that.
Everyone,
You're just arse licking. Whereas Gav, he just says it as it is. Like, if I'm sparring with someone, I try a new technique out, I'll ask Gav after, it's like, what do you think of that? That was absolutely fucking terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll tell me straight. It's like, never do that again. Or, you know, recently it's been a lot of good things, so that's good. I'm happy with that. But yeah, he does smile. Yeah. If it matters, he'll smile.
Yeah, for sure. So no, I look forward to coming there, man. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, man.
But Chris, thank you so much, man, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon, brother.
Top.
Take care, my
Top,
friend.
man.
See you later.